Hello, welcome to Young's Crossing Creations. I'm so glad you came by. My name's LaJuan, and today I'm going to cook something that may seem really simple to majority of you, but I can remember when I was a young housewife and I didn't know diddly squat about cooking. As a matter of fact, the first almost year that we married, my husband was working nights, I was going to school, and when he would get up, he would cook half of I think it was a Totino's or Tony's, that's what it was, Tony's pizza. It was a real cheap pizza, frozen. He would cook half, and then when I came home from school and he went to work, I ate the other half. Finally, I learned to venture out and I learned to cook spaghetti, and I used jar spaghetti sauce. So, and I just didn't know how to cook. I mean, I had taken homemaking and I knew a little bit of this and that, but not enough to make a proper meal. And I just know that if I had come across this type of video, I'd have been happy to find it. So I hope it's helpful to someone. Today we're just going to make chili. It's the chili I always make. It's just simple. You probably have majority of it. Here's everything you're going to need. You're going to need 1 pound of hamburger meat, 1 large onion chopped, 2 cloves of garlic, and if you don't have garlic cloves, you can use garlic powder. That's what I used for years. And then I discovered that some people call it the jarlic. It's minced garlic in a jar. I use that. Then we need 1 16-ounce can, and I get the diced tomatoes. The original recipe called for whole tomatoes, but since you chop them up in the pan, why not just get the diced? And I'm wanting this to be easy for especially newbies. Then 2 medium stalks of celery. For years I never bought celery, so I didn't have that. So don't worry if you don't. And I need 2 to 3 tablespoons of chili powder. I used to use 2, now I use 3. 2 teaspoons of salt, and I don't have it sitting out here, but you're going to need 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and then a half a teaspoon of red pepper sauce. For years I didn't have the sauce and I would just use red peppers, or I wouldn't even use it at all. And then you need 1 15-ounce can of kidney beans or pinto beans. So that's all you need for this recipe. Once you get this chopped up and put in the pan, we're just going to let it cook for 1 hour, stirring off and on, and then you'll have some of the best chili you've ever had, and nobody has to know how easy it was. So I'll get started chopping my onion and my celery. Chopping the onion is easy. If you want it real easy, you could buy frozen chopped onions if you're in a hurry, but these are so much better. Just cut each end off. Then I turn it on its side, cut it in half, and then slice it. It doesn't have to be real thin slices this way. Just depends on what your preference is. Then I turn it aside like this and chop it off. It's like it has built-in chopping places for you, so you don't have to work as hard. Okay. Then this calls for a whole onion, so I'll do this too. Okay, see, easy peasy. Okay, before I chop my celery, I'm going to go ahead and put my hamburger in the pan. to start cooking. You can spray it if you feel the need, or sometimes what I do, and I know it's not healthy, but I just put a little salt in the bottom like so, drop my meat in, and when you're in Walmart or Amazon, get you one of these little dillies. Awesome for chopping up your beef, like to get it small instead of big old hunks. I'm going to go ahead and put my onion in to cook with my beef. Now I'm going to chop my celery. I usually cut that much off the fat end, just because I do. Cut the ends off. Then I usually put it on the end, slice down, like so. And scoot it together and chop into pieces. This is 2 medium stalks. Like I said, for years I didn't use the celery because we didn't eat it and I didn't know what to do with what I had left. I'm going to add this in with the beef and the onion. And this one stir as it cooks. I've got it on medium heat. And these I got on Amazon. They're magnetic, they stick together, and I don't have to have the ones all stringed together and end up having to wash them all just for one spoon. And it comes like 1/8 all the way up to like half a tablespoon, and this is your leveler if you need to level it off. I don't think I'll use that, but it's an option. Okay, get my teaspoon one out. 2 teaspoons of salt. Since I put a little bit in the bottom of the pan, I just left a tiny bit out of that. Not enough so you can tell. Okay, that's 2 teaspoons of salt. Now I need 1 teaspoon of sugar. I'm putting 3 tablespoons of chili pepper. Okay, that's all my dry ingredients. So I'll continue cooking my beef here. Just about done. Ready for the rest of the ingredients. Now for the draining that you do of your hamburger grease. Turn my fire off so I won't catch my mitts on fire. And I'm tilting the pan over and push my spoon down in it and get the grease out this way. If I try to pour it out, it's going to be a mess. So this, I find, is the best way. This meat was pretty lean, so it doesn't have a whole lot to drain off. Now I'm going to add my dry ingredients. My electric can opener broke years ago and I started using this. I love it because I can throw it in the drawer and it's not out on my counter catching grease and dirt, and dust. Okay, now I'm putting in my diced tomatoes, juice and all. Then I'm going to put in my tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. Some people say they never use this. We use this so much. Okay. 1 teaspoon of my red pepper sauce. Really makes a difference. Like I said, if you don't have the sauce, you can use the red pepper flakes or just cayenne pepper flakes, whatever, and it'll work just as well. Garlic, and it calls for 2 cloves. Well, half a teaspoon is a clove, so I'm going to use, I haven't used this in, 1 teaspoon, a little bit hefty, of cloves. That's it. Now I'm going to get it going again. And it calls for pinto beans or kidney beans, and we prefer the pinto, even though they can tend to be a little mushier. But we usually go with that. And we don't add those for an hour. And then in the hour, I'll put the beans in and heat it till they're heated through. And we have chili, and today we're going to make ours Frito pie, actually. I haven't had that in a long time. Bring that to a boil, reduce the heat, and go about my day, checking it periodically and cooking it for 1 hour. Okay, it's been 1 hour, and so now I'm going to put in my beans. I put the juice in everything because just be a little bit more to eat. And I'm going to heat this until the beans are warmed through. You don't have to add beans at all if you don't want. Many times I haven't added beans, just as good. Since we're having Frito pie, I'm going to grate cheese, and please buy the real block cheese and grate your own. That in the bag to me is just gross. It has that white powdery look to it. And this is so simple, so easy, so quick. You'll be glad you took the time to do this. We had the little bags of Fritos, so I'm putting 2 bags in each bowl. Then I'm going to top the Fritos with some chili. And then add some cheese. There we have it. Now, if you had some green onion to chop up really small and put on top, that would be good. Or if I'd have saved some of my chopped onion to put on top, that would be good. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful and liked it, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't already, if you could subscribe, that'd be great. Share, comment, any of that would help my channel. And we'll see you next time at our home on Young's Crossing. Thanks. Bye.